I'm a little disappointed. I'm gonna lie to y'all. You're listening to the Urban Sports Scene. It's Washington Capitals live post game show. In Game One in the second round of the Stanley Cup Playoffs, the Washington Capitals fell to the Carolina Hurricanes 2-1 in overtime. Goal by Hurricanes Jacob Slavin. I'm Wole, and I'm joined by former WNXT's Capitals reporter Ed Frankovic. Ed, what's going on?
Well, Wole, we got a lot of bad things to talk about here tonight. I'm going to give the summary with the old something I used to write, the old Dr. Seuss.
Uh-huh.
Stink, stank, stunk. That's how you could summarize that one tonight.
Totally agree. Before we get into this game, this horrible game and horrible play game, to be honest with you, let me knock out some particulars. A, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Also, make sure you subscribe to our Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, please hit that red subscribe button and also like this video. Don't forget to tweet us at Urban Sports Scene. Hit us up on IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene, and like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Also, join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Just search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, and sports podcasters, and sports debates. All right, Ed, overall, obviously, just overall, your biggest issue in this 2-1 loss in overtime to the Hurricanes.
Well, it was the effort. The skating. They got out skated. They didn't win any puck battles, and the Hurricanes, they couldn't handle the Hurricanes forecheck, and they never adjusted. And so the players were awful, and the coaches were too.
I agree. I thought like the first period, I thought the Hurricanes, like, they set the tone, right? The first period. They were more physical, they're faster to the puck. They got all the shot attempts, all the solid shot attempts. I thought Logan Thompson played like that first period played a hell of a game. But throughout the game, he played a hell of a game.
Yeah, Logan only
he was amazing. He was amazing. Those goals weren't his issue, to be honest.
Right.
But I thought it changed up after, like, in the second period. In the beginning, I think it went towards the end of the period, even when the Caps gaining that 1-0 1-0 lead due to approach. But other than that, like toward that section towards the end of the second period, then Carolina turned up again. They turned it up again. You know what I mean? And then the Capitals never matched their intensity. And that was like, and obviously when they tied it in the third period, that just changed the whole thing. Like the outlook of the game looked a little bit more scarce. But to your point, like, where's the drive? It's play, like, I give them credit. Like, they blocked a lot of pucks. I like that. But at the end of the day, in terms of like trying to be like being more aggressive, trying to be the physical team, match the Hurricanes' physicality. They didn't do that. To not have like like, was it 13 or 14 shots on goal? I'm sure
14.
I'm wrong. 14 shots on goal with overtime, and I think Carolina had like 30. Was it 34 or 33? I mean, it could be wrong, something like that.
They had all the only shots in overtime.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, like, that's a big problem. Like, to your point, that's obviously the players stunk it up, and also the coaches as well, because you didn't adjust.
Yeah, it was just a terrible effort. Like you said, the intensity wasn't there. It looked like they were thinking it was a preseason game. Carolina was on every puck. The Capitals couldn't even make a pass. I mean, I'm sitting there with my 13-year-old son watching the game, like, and he had a practice tonight, and I'm like, your team passed better than the Caps tonight. They couldn't even make a pass. It was awful. I mean, they were trying these floating passes through the neutral zone that had no chance. I have no idea what Carberry's game plan was on coming through the neutral zone. And time after time after time, they would bump the puck up the wall, and the Carolina defenseman would be right there, and they'd knock it right back in. They never adjusted the breakout. It was horrible effort, horrible coaching. There's two positives in the game I'll give you right now. Number one was Logan Thompson. He was incredible.
He was amazing.
He's the only reason this game got to overtime.
Yes.
And the other positive is, as bad as the Capitals played, and they were terrible. I mean, that was one of the worst games I've seen them play. The game went to overtime. Yes. I mean, Carolina had all those shots and all those chances. They hit a lot of bars. That's for sure.
A lot of bars.
And the game went to overtime. So there's nowhere to go but up for the Caps, because they were atrocious. And I don't know, Carolina had the same layoff, so you can't go blaming the layoff or anything. There's just no excuse. They were not ready to play, and they never really got in the game. They were fortunate to be up 1-0. And Frederik Andersen is not a good goalie, and you only get 14 shots on him. Just awful.
It's just like, what my issue is. Let me read this comment. George, what's going on, George? The funny thing is that until the Canes scored, it looked like they could play until tomorrow night and not score. Yeah, but they can't keep hanging Logan Thompson out there to dry and expecting him to bail them out. I know
right.
He's right. Logan was amazing, so I just felt like in that regard, I felt like the Caps weren't bringing up enough threat in terms of the offense, right? Like limited opportunities. I mean, Leonard had an opportunity.
Yeah, and he doesn't even get a shot off there, right?
Yeah, I felt like he lost control of the puck. I knew he had the move was nice. I thought he had it. If he had control of the puck, I think it would have been a good opportunity for him to score. But that was, to me, that was a key play. Obviously, like, it's something I had an issue with. Even in the Canadian series, it was like the passing in your own zone, and I just did. It's been sloppy throughout. I mean, I know it's early in the playoffs, but it's been sloppy throughout this playoffs, and it reared its ugly head to give up the tying goal, and I don't get that. Like, why? If anything, I take you icing. I do an icing compared to what you with that the attempt of, like, instead of doing that type of pass, I'd rather you ice the play than to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was so annoyed at that pass. It's like, this is playoff hockey. You got to treasure the puck. Like, you got to grind this out. Why would you take that type of risk? This is not the regular season. You got a 1-0 game. You got it against a team that shoots the puck relentlessly. They don't care about quality shots. They just care about getting pucks to the net. Why even take that chance?
Right. Just a terrible play.
Yeah.
You know, Van Riemsdyk didn't make a good play. And then Alexeyev just awful, can't control the puck.
Yeah.
And he had played well to this point, but, you know, you just can't make that mistake in the third period. And, you know, it was just awful. I mean, they never could get the puck out. And even when they did, they struggled to get it through the neutral zone. So that takes away their ability to do what you talked about, getting pucks deep and hitting. So they had maybe a couple shifts early where Ovi had a couple hits, and then he was invisible. I mean, they did nothing to make Carolina work in their own zone. It was really, really bad hockey. Just a terrible effort. There was no intensity, no desperation in their game, and it was just watching the game. I'm just like, it's just a matter of time. And to be honest, I didn't want it to go all night because, you know, might as well end it because the Capitals couldn't even get out of their own zone.
That too. And the power play was nothing. Like, it felt like when we were on the power play, they had the power play. Like, their kill was the power play.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sitting there like, I get like they're putting so much pressure on you, but I just feel like the Capitals, I don't like using this term in sports, but I'll say it. I feel like they play a little scared.
Yeah, they did. I agree. They were tentative. They were, and they should not be. They can play physical with this team.
Yes.
They were tentative on pucks. I mean, every time it was like the Capital guy was looking at the Carolina guy to see where he was instead of just going for the puck. They lost so many puck battles. Hockey's a game of winning those battles, and they got destroyed. I mean, it's a miracle this thing went to overtime tonight. There was not much good other than Logan Thompson.
I agree.
I don't think a single Capital skater played well tonight. I can't name one.
I agree. So that Alexeyev Protas turnover was a brain dead play. Why not throw it up the boards? I agree. That's why I was kind of like, why would you throw it there? Why would throw it up the boards? I agree with that. That's where I agree.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they're going to have to come out with a lot of desperation in game 2 because now they've given up home ice, and Carolina is very tough at home. So, you know, it's really ugly the way this game went down, and they had a chance to steal it because
they did.
You know, they had the great kill, the penalty kill at the end of the game, and
there you go.
Actually fault Carolina there because they just kept moving the puck around the perimeter.
They did not shoot it.
Hey, keep moving it all day.
No, I agree. I would see. So it's funny you say that. So when that happened, I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe the Cats will have some momentum going into the OT, because like you said, they had opportunities. They kind of played it. They played it like the Caps. Like they were getting too cute. They had shots. They decided to pass it around. But I felt like, okay, they got the penalty kill. This could have ended the game. Now they have the momentum. It switched over. So I'm thinking maybe in OT. The Caps will be kind of firing, being quicker to the puck, firing with some type of energy. And I felt like in OT, I know, we're ended, but I felt like even in OT, again, I felt like Carolina still had all the energy and the Caps didn't have it. They just didn't. To your point, they just didn't bring. They didn't match the energy of the Hurricanes.
Absolutely not. They did not. You're spot on. And I was with you. I'm like, okay, they got to kill. Maybe they're
Mm-hmm,
going to finally come out and start a period the right way. And
mm-hmm.
it just didn't happen. It was one bad pass after another. And Carolina had all kinds of room. Like the
Oh my
Capitals had
god.
the puck,
Yeah.
and there was always a guy right on him. You
Yeah.
watch the way you go watch the
They
last
did.
sequences, like there's like nobody within 10 feet of the guy with the puck at the point. He had a guy walk in all day and shoot through traffic. It's like Thompson can't keep making these saves. It was just energy. There's no energy is the exact way to describe that game for the Capitals.
And to your point, it's like I feel bad for Thompson because he played so well. Like
Yeah, he was
usually
a
when a
stud.
goalie play, like usually when a goalie plays, to your point, because like it's not like Anderson did anything special. Like he didn't barely got any attempts. But
He's
but
not good.
Thompson had to deal with so much, so much traffic, so many opportunities from the opposition, and he made all these saves. And it's like he has nothing to show for it. You know what I mean? Like that's the problem
Yep,
I have. Like he was an elite goaltender tonight, and
absolutely.
and
We
for
talked
what?
after Game 5. I said the
Mm-hmm,
Capitals' goaltending is better than Carolina's. It was tonight,
mm-hmm. Yes,
but the Carolina players were infinitely better than the Capitals players
yes.
tonight. And unless that's got to change very quickly, this team's got to wake up. They were sleepwalking tonight.
And but it's something like you told me before, like you told me in the regular season. Like I guess my question is what they didn't expect this? Because you told me in the regular season to watch this game, right?
Yeah,
And I watched that
exactly.
last game. I watched the game. It was kind of similar. Like their physicality was there, like their energy is the same. Like they didn't. I mean, they should know who they're playing, and I feel like they played it as if this team was foreign to them.
Yeah, I agree. Those last two games, Carolina kind of pushed them around a bit. Now the Capitals didn't play a lot of those
Yeah.
guys in the game, but the Capitals had to know what Carolina was going to do. They were going to be aggressive. Their forecheck is strong.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost like, the Capitals, they're the team that didn't do their homework, right? They're the team
Yeah.
that, went out and played when they had the test the next day because they failed tonight. It was an epic failure, and they have got to find some type of energy, some type of gear, some type of strategy to get it out of their zone and through the neutral zone because, Carolina's going to come with that aggressive forecheck again. They're going to be down, hitting them, keeping them on the boards. The winger, you can't throw the puck up the boards of the winger when that defenseman is standing right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be automatically right back in your own zone. So they have got to adjust to that. Maybe they need a quick hit. Maybe they need to bring the breakout lower for lower hit to the center so he can skate it out, or they go for a chip and chase. The Capitals really aren't a chip and chase type of team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Carberry's got a lot of work ahead of him, and it's got to be a heck of a lot better effort because that was a F minus effort tonight.
It was horrible. So who would you say needs to step up for the Caps? Because this was like
Everybody,
everybody. Okay, I was about to
everybody.
say
It
okay, okay,
starts across. It starts up front. The top two lines were pretty much invisible. I mean, Protus had the one goal, but
yeah,
they were invisible. Um, the Dowd line played a lot, and Eller's line doesn't play much. They're basically the fourth line.
yeah,
The
for like
top
yeah,
six forwards have got to be a lot better. They've got to get the speed going. They got to be on the puck. Uh, the defensemen were doing what they could,
yeah.
but the forwards were just terrible. They were in no positions, and then when they would get the puck from the D, and they couldn't make a pass. It was really
They
ugly.
couldn't make a pass. They really couldn't. Would you put Protus? Protus was on the OV line tonight. Would you take him away from the OV line and try to put him on the I think in the secondary line?
Yeah, they got to do something because Bouvillier was doing pretty
I
well
like
up there,
him.
but
I like
I
him.
like Bouvillier, but he got pushed around a bit tonight.
Yeah.
But maybe that was the line he was on. If you put him with
Mm-hmm.
Ovechkin, then he's got a little more confidence because he's got a big body with him. So maybe they do that. Maybe they bump. Maybe McMichael goes down a line
Mm-hmm.
or something, right? Because Connor didn't have a good game. I mean, they got to do something. I mean, the second line is usually what. Well, last year's wasn't Wilson. It was uh, Luc Dubois. He had a bad game,
Mm-hmm.
and then Protus. Wasn't that the second line? I would go back to that line. I would go
You
back
got
to
time?
PLD, Protus, and Wilson. Up top, I'd go Strome, Ovi,
And
and
yeah,
Beauvillier.
I
I'd
like
bump
it.
Michael down a line to try and get some speed, maybe in that third line with Eller and Leonard. Maybe do that. That's what I would do in the next game.
Yeah, I kind of like Canes. Oh, somebody's what do you say? Ov, Jovi, you're my homie. Canes and 5. This got to be a Canes fan. That
Oh
happens.
yeah, we're getting the Kings fans coming in. Hey,
It always happens when you're doing one of these live. Ed, I'll tell you, you have one of these live streams and the opposition wins. They find a way to trickle in. I won't even lie to you. They always do.
hey, more views for you, right? More views for the Urban
I
Sports Scene,
guess.
right?
Sometimes, yeah,
We
I
take
guess.
all comers
We
here.
take all comers, but it gets annoying too at the same time.
Oh yeah, for sure. But hey,
Yeah, I knew
let
I'd
them
take them
have
all,
their
but no,
night.
yeah, I appreciate you. I do appreciate you, Blake. I appreciate you. But yeah, I kind of like that. I thought Beauvillier played better from my point of view, my vantage point. I thought he played better with the OV line.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I thought he looked he jumped on screen for me in that last series when he was playing with OV. He would always stand out to me. Like he stood
Yep.
out to me. And tonight he didn't stand out as much.
No, he was on that line with Eller and Leonard, and what they had the one chance, and they were pretty bad.
Yeah. All right, thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you. It's gonna be a classic series. Hopefully, it's a classic series. I agree, Blake. Hopefully, it is.
Yeah, the Capitals
Uh,
got a lot of work to do now to get
yeah,
back into this
yeah.
thing,
To
and
make it, but I'll say, Blake, for that to be a thing, the Caps got to step up, though. I won't even lie to you. That I will be honest. Like Thompson to me is fine. Like
yeah,
I feel like he's in his groove. He's in his bag. He's gonna be fine. To me, to me, it goes to the basics. Like clear it when you can, clear it. Be strong with the puck. All this like shaky puck handling. What did you think of the sequence for the game-winning goal? Like, what did you think about that sequence in terms of how it played out?
yeah. I thought the Caps were way too passive.
Yeah,
Again,
okay, yeah.
you look at the room. The guy on the point who shoots the puck, I forget who shoots it, but was it Slavin? I don't know. Whoever
Slavin
shot it.
scored. Slavin shot it to
Yeah,
win.
Slavin. He's really. I mean, he played on that team in the Four Nations for Team USA. He's a
Yeah.
great defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
He and Faber from Minnesota were great together. Slavin's their best D,
Mm-hmm.
and he had all day. He had
Yeah.
10 feet in front of him to work with. There was no
Mm-hmm.
pressure on him. You cannot be passive. The Capitals are just sitting back trying to block shots, and that's just not going to work. We've got to pressure the puck and skate. And they had the Carolina brought it in, and there's like no, they're just moving it around. There was no pressure, no danger in losing the
Mm-hmm.
puck. And eventually they found the open guy. I was telling my son sitting
Mm-hmm.
there, I said, look, it's just a matter of time here because the Capitals aren't skating.
Yeah, I had an issue around that time. I don't know if it was that play. Maybe it was during the same play. Chicharin, I thought he was real shaky at the time with the puck.
Yep.
Like he had the opportunity to clear, and he kind of like. But that whole process, the whole sequence, he had the puck twice, and it was like he couldn't handle the puck. And I was like sitting there, myself like, oh man, if you don't let this screw the Caps, like don't in
Yeah.
that situation. And I felt like I'm trying. I had notes. I forgot. I felt like his puck handling put them in a position, not to say it was the main reason, but put them in a position to get that opportunity. But yeah, it's just to me, it's the sequence of just not being not. If I had anything to fix for myself for just the Caps, like be clean, and I think be clean with the puck. Like have your puck handling strong. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like I think that's like the big. If anything, if you're not going to get shots, if anything, so you won't beat yourself, be strong with the puck. If anything, other than that, like all this, I agree with you, Ed. Like all they need to play with a different type of passion, a different type of fire.
Yep.
Everybody has to step up. But if anything, like don't have the way this team plays, the way the Hurricanes play hockey, and the way they attack. Don't beat yourself. Let them. If they're gonna do all, they're gonna score goals because they get an abundance of goals to the net. All right, that happens. Like, or play better defense. But if anything, don't add the other element of beating yourself because now, like, you're gonna make it easier for them to score. Because I would make the argument that, granted, the Hurricanes are a better overall team, but in terms of threats, in terms of offensive threats, what you saw in Montreal with those young kids as scorers, they're scarier. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As scorers, I think there's an opportunity with the goaltending you do have. If you don't beat yourself, you could easily win this series. You just have to play with a certain fire defensively, and like you said, with the forwards have to step up all defensively and offensively, and I think they'll be fine. But they have to, like, in my opinion, in terms of what the Hurricanes have to offer offensively. It's not a knock on the Hurricanes offense. I'm just saying, like, in terms of skill position, in terms of like offensive creativity, they don't have what Montreal has. And I think that in that element, the Caps have a better opportunity to limit their opportunities to score.
Yeah, Carolina's best two threats are Svechnikov and Aho. I mean,
Yeah.
they had Nietzsche and Drury. They traded them to Colorado for Rantanen, right? Rantanen was going to be the guy, and they found out they couldn't make a deal with him, so they shipped him to Dallas. And Dallas goes and signs him 8 years at $12 million a year. And geez, he's already made a bunch of that money back with the way he played against Colorado those last 3 games. I mean, he single-handedly won that series. So to your point, Carolina made some trades. They've lost some quality high-end players in
Yeah.
Nietzsche and Rantanen. And so they play their system. You heard PK
Yeah.
Subban talking about it between periods. This is what they do. They
Yep.
throw pucks at nets. They try to get bodies there. You know, they're a puck possession team, and the only way to stop that is to play with more intensity, win the battles, and you got to be cleaner. To your point, the passes must be cleaner. You got to come up with some type of strategy to beat that aggressive forecheck. It's beatable,
Yeah.
but the way they played, the way they skated tonight, they weren't going to beat any of that stuff. They just
Yeah.
couldn't get it out.
So if you had to name, well, if you had to have a takeaway, what would be your main takeaway from this loss? Your main takeaway, would it be coaching and players got to step up, or would it be whatever? What would be your main takeaway?
The biggest thing is effort, right? You
Effort.
have to come out and play with a passion. You said the word passion. That was perfect, right? You have to have a passion. You have to want to beat a guy in a one-on-one battle. They lost. I'd say they probably lost 90% of the one-on-one battles tonight.
I
And
agree.
if they do that again, they'll be done in 4 games.
Ooh.
You got to watch from the get-go. Watch the individual battles. Who's winning those individual? Who's getting to the puck first? Whoever's getting to the puck first is going to win the game. If the Capitals don't do that in Game 2, this will be a quick series.
Ooh. Yeah, I hope not, because I just think that they do have what it takes to win this series. I mean,
Absolutely, they do.
They do, and it's not like, to your just something you made an excellent point. I do want to make sure I didn't gloss over it. They shot the ball. Let me shot the ball. They shot the puck about, like we said, 14 times, right? They got 14 shots.
Yep.
And Hurricanes had 30 plus shots, and they were up in the second period, 1-0. And if it wasn't for a sloppy play, they would probably still be up. To the third. Like, regardless, I'm not going to act like, well, they were up in the third. Excuse me. They could have won the game. Put it like that. If it wasn't for a sloppy play, they could have won the game. So playing that poorly, they still had a great chance to win the game.
Yep.
So that tells me, and to me, the Hurricanes played they played their game. That was their game.
Yep.
Nothing
That's
different.
the way they're going to play every game. They will not deviate from that strategy. That's Rod Brindamore hockey. It's a system. It's effort. It's throwing pucks.
Yeah.
It's winning one-on-one battles, and you got to match the intensity of the Canes to win the game against them. And if you do that, we have more skill.
Yeah.
But you got to have the desire, and they didn't have it tonight.
And I feel, to your point, they match. If they played, they play even 20% better than they did today, they win. So they play like 20% better than what they did today. They can win. They can win Thursday. But again, they do have to be far better, because obviously, like, this team, this Hurricanes team is no slouch. They're a physical team, but the Caps have I feel like, to your point, if the Caps match their intensity, they'll be fine. Like, I do believe that, because one, I love a hot goaltender, and this kid is hot.
Yes.
And this kid is hot. So if they can match their intensity, they have the goaltender to kind of hold up for them. You know what I mean? So if they can I think it's essential in game 2 Thursday night for them to jump on them fast, and then let Logan Thompson take you home. That's how I look at it.
They didn't test Andersen really at all.
Didn't.
He's not that good of a goalie. The Capitals have to find a way to get pucks and bodies to him and start winning those battles. and get that early lead. And then when they get the lead, they can't sit back because they were sitting back in the third period.
Yeah.
They thought they were going to milk this to a 1-0 game. You're going to rarely win a 1-0 game.
True.
You've got to be cleaner. You've got to be stronger on the puck. I mean, he should just go in the locker room tomorrow and put, the song Desire by U2 on and let them listen to that, because until they get the desire to win those battles, they're not winning a game in the series.
And like George said, outside of one really physical shift from Ovi, it felt like the Caps thought brought very little physicality to the ice tonight. Yeah, they did.
He's absolutely right. They had one shift with 2 hits. They didn't hit because they couldn't get the puck. They couldn't get the puck out of their zone or through the neutral zone to put it in position to be physical, to put them on the defensive. It was all Capitals hemmed in their zone, throttled in the neutral zone. George is right. And that's winning battles, making clean plays, focus, desire, energy, passion. They were all missing tonight.
No, I agree. I'm gonna say, because he's my favorite hockey player, but I need Ovi to step up. I need Ovi to be. I know he's I'm asking for a lot from an aging superstar. You know what I mean? And still, he's one of the better players in hockey. But I need him to step up. You know what I mean? Like, this is when your team needs you, because in this series, the way Carolina plays their physical team, we saw a glimpse of that tonight, like George mentioned, in that shift where he made that physical play that led to an opportunity to score a goal in the front of the net. But I feel like we need Ovi to be that guy because this team needs a spark. That is a thing. This team needs a spark in game 2, because the way they lost this, because the way they got beat is not because just the way they played. I won't say the way they got beat. The way they played, it was all around. The score doesn't indicate how beat up they got tonight. Put it that way. Yeah. The score doesn't indicate that.
No, Logan kept them in the game.
Yeah.
They blocked a lot of shots too. But again, you're blocking shots because you're not on the puck, right?
Yes.
You're very passive. You're not aggressive. You're not on the puck. You're making it too easy for the other team. And it was just a matter of time before one of those was going to go through the way they were sitting back.
Do you feel like we're about to end the show, but do you feel like they were more concerned about the shot attempts of the Hurricanes than trying to go out there and create plays offensively? Like, they were trying to jam things in and making sure it's like shots they get through rather than trying to open things up offensively? Like, they were way more concerned on defense?
I think that's something they're going to look at. I felt like they were too passive. They were not aggressive. They were not playing the way they can play. They were not controlling the game. They were too content to say, okay, Carolina just likes to throw pucks, so we'll try and just get in the lanes. Well, yeah, you can get in the lanes, but now you're stationary. When you're blocking shots, you're not moving, you're not skating, and that makes it hard to get to pucks. So they gotta scrap whatever that game plan was tonight and throw it in the trash and come up with a new plan and a new energy for the next game, because there was none tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Swamp Bear X caused chaos. Kane's mantra. Yeah, they definitely caused chaos. That is they definitely did. I will not. They caused it, and the Caps they're gonna have to rebound. They're gonna have to kind of get. They're gonna probably have this. They're gonna have to center themselves and like just calm down. Like, just calm down and play hockey. And and they'll be okay. I feel like
they were jumpy, scared, whatever you want to say. They did not look comfortable at all.
They definitely weren't comfortable. Totally agree. All right. Well, Ed, I appreciate you doing this with me. This has been cool. Hopefully Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. We can do this again. We can jump right back on it on Thursday. Hopefully there's a W, because I don't like doing these before. This is my first loss. I don't know how to act. I've been getting W's.
we did almost a half hour talking about one of the worst games you've seen all year. So
I know.
Let's have a 45-minute fun one on Thursday.
Exactly.
This was not a fun game. This was fun talking with you as always.
Always fun.
But it was. It's amazing they went to overtime as bad as they played.
I agree. It is amazing they went to overtime. Hey, thanks, Lou. He said, Lou said, damn Caps. Yeah, they're damn Caps on Instagram. Yeah, damn Caps. Hopefully, again, I'm a positive thinker. I do believe that like they'll play better in game 2. Because to your point, Ed, I think it's a must win though. So
yeah, they have to win this next game.
It's a must
win. No doubt about it.
It's a must win. All right, folks. Thank you all for tuning in. Anyway, Oh, don't forget, if you're on YouTube right now, please hit that red subscribe button. Also like this video. Appreciate you all. Anyway, don't forget to check us out on our website, which is www.urbansportscene.com. All right. Thank you. You've been listening to the Urban Sports Scene for ages. Yiddy deuces. We are out.